more walkable places, just like that. Education and outreach has been a big drive of our group, Apple, since the beginning. You may recognize Richard Heinberg here. It may sound familiar to some of you. 2005 was the first time he visited Grass Valley and spoke to a sold-out crowd at the Center for the Arts. Told us all about Peak Oil, how it's going to change our lives. 2006, Peak Moment Television is born. They are here filming today. They have a table upstairs. And Janaea Donaldson, one of our co-founders, got just the fire in her belly and the idea to take this message of sustainability and localization to a whole relatively new venue. Her, along with Robin Malgren, have now filmed over 100 shows. They're on the air in over 20 different cable access, community access TV stations around the country. And they have international presence on the web, YouTube, their own webpage, Global Public Media. Talk about a success story. This was just one small idea just a few years ago. 2006, later on in the year, Climate Change Conference came to town, Apple co-sponsored, because no discussion of burning fossil fuels can be entirely complete without discussing the side effects on the climate. Later on in the year, what you're going to drive, the future of personal transportation. In the Center of the Arts, we had speakers and panelists like Kimber Holmes from the California Biodiesel Coalition discussing biofuels, and down here we have Glenn Rambaugh discussing the hydrogen economy, why it's not here now, why it likely will not be here in the near future, why it's not a long-term solution, and what role it does actually play in the future of our transportation a little bit down the road. Outside, we had a great big alternative car show. You've seen these on the video before we started up. This is an all-electric vehicle owned by Betty Westman, who lives here locally. This does actually say 100 plus miles per gallon. Wouldn't that be handy right now? This was from the CalCars team down in the Bay Area, who's working on concept plug-in hybrids. This one brought from UC Davis, Professor Andy Frank's team. It's a plug-in flex fuel hybrid. This you may also recognize. Ray Darby, who I believe is here tonight, Sustainable Energy Group, one of our sponsors. All-electric Ford Ranger. Was it 20, 30 or so miles per charge? But the big win from all of these outreach events is this. Look how many people from the community were out finding these new ideas, brainstorming, networking, scratching their chins, talking about what's out there. 2007, we continued that momentum. We built on our town hall meeting series, different topic every month with a different set of experts to come and speak to the crowd. And the key point is to have plenty of discussion afterwards, answer plenty of questions, find out how these can affect us right here in Nevada County. We ended up the series with a potluck and community discussion, again, so everyone can get together and brainstorm, because what we need on this is ideas. We continued the excellent partnership with Unitarian Universalist Community of the Mountains, who's been hosting us at their venue for the last year or so. This year we're having a film series over there. Now, if you really want to magnify these actions that we've been talking about, to have them take effect all over the region, local government has to be part of the equation. Right here in Nevada County, we span all the way from the valley up to the Nevada border on the east slope of the Sierras. We've only got 2 cities and 1 incorporated town. But our first step, one of our first steps that we've already completed. Last month, we got together with Power Up and Clean Power Co-op, developed a set of 10 energy-related questions for local candidates, and Ubinet was kind enough to host those answers online. That election was last week, and here's the outcome. Congratulations, Renette. Renette is one of our co-founders and chief instigators all down the line. We look forward to working with Renette and working with the rest of the elected officials. To what end, you ask? Well, take a look at this map here. This is a map of the cities that have chosen to list their actions that they've officially taken to acknowledge the challenges of peak oil, energy depletion, resource depletion, to acknowledge that, yes, there are things that we might have to rework to figure all this out. What do we envision for the future? This is our short-term goal. We envision a new blip on this map soon. Specifically, an energy scarcity resolution to publicly and officially acknowledge that there are challenges, and also calling for the creation of an energy solutions task force, which would investigate the specific local vulnerabilities to peak oil, to liquid fuel decline, and would also specifically look at the local alternatives and suggest local solutions. That's what it's all about, is finding solutions. Now, what can you say about local economy? You can see that it's changing. That's no mystery to anyone anymore, right? These signboards tell you that plenty. And right now we're all wondering, where on earth did you find gas that cheap? Would you believe this is only 2 weeks ago? That it is, only 2 weeks ago. This makes the headlines also, unfortunately. But it happens. The new thing here about stores closing is that many more of them are starting to specifically list energy and transportation prices as a reason why they were having trouble staying afloat. That right there is new. But here's the upside of the equation. Now we have all this opportunity and all this motivation to promote our local economy first whenever we can, whenever we get the chance, to look for a brighter, cleaner energy future, to look for the green-collar jobs that are less likely to disappear as energy gets in more of a crunch, rather than more likely to disappear, to make this a more bikeable, walkable, livable community, to bring the next generations in on all this action, to get them motivated, see what the same challenges are, and get them interested in finding the same solutions. And more than that, the responsibility to leave them a place where we can all come home to eat and be proud of it. What else can you say about the economy? Well, it's part of our name. When our founders came up with this name, Alliance for a Post-Petroleum Local Economy, that's exactly what they had in mind: reducing our dependence on fossil fuels and building the local economy. Is it possible to do both at the same time? It is. We must, and we can, and we will. So here's some things to do if you're motivated by what you've seen so far. Next Thursday, we're going to be having a mixer get-together to go over brainstorming with everyone in the community on new ideas that you've gotten after seeing this tonight. You can start or expand your own efforts or your own group's efforts to relocalize and be more conservative with what you do use, with energy that you do have to use. You don't have to tell Apple about it. The bottom line is just make sure that you're taking steps in the right direction. It's where we all need to go. Urge your elected officials to take action. They need to know if they're going to be taking action, they need to know that the constituency is 100% behind them. Consider writing a letter. Consider talking to them in person. And last, consider making a tax-deductible donation to Apple so that we can continue our outreach efforts. We want to make these concepts household knowledge to every house in Nevada County. So a last thing we'd like to leave you with before we bring Richard on to answer all the bigger questions for us, give us the big picture, is if you're ever feeling like these challenges are beyond our scope, we're just one little county, what can we do about it here in Nevada City? We're not a big city. We don't know how it works. Well, take a look at this. This is a map of 192 different relocalization groups just like Apple, all around the country, all around the world. So these are big questions or big challenges. Each one of these locations has their own different details to these challenges, but they're generally all the same. Everyone's in a bind. We're working on the same solutions. We're going to get there because we're not alone. Thank you.